Alternative Dig Talk. Real issues, real talk.
Hi Rogers, can I ask you something?
Shoot.
What does corruption mean?
Well, summarily, corruption is abuse of public power for personal gain or for the benefit of a group to which one owes allegiance. For example, when a public office is abused by an official accepting or soliciting a bribe. By the way, private people can be corrupt too, like bribing police officers to escape fines.
Okay. So exactly how does that concern me?
Well, do you pay taxes?
I guess, yeah. What does that have to do with this?
Everything. Because those taxes you pay are supposed to facilitate services you use, like water, electricity, roads construction, medicines in hospitals, name it.
Okay, that is much bigger than I thought. But it can be stopped, right?
Well, yes it can, although it may not be as easy as it sounds. And here is the reason why. Corruption roots are grounded in our country's social, political, economic, bureaucratic traditions and policies.
So, what has kept it going this long? I mean, why don't we stop it?
Well, the main reason why it has been here for so long is because institutions are weak, either as a result of poorly defined ethical standards of public service, weak administrative and financial systems, or ineffective watchdog agencies.
What can we do to stop it?
At a national level, we must focus on strengthening the independence and effectiveness of public institutions that fight corruption. At a personal level, we must commit to never giving a bribe.
I promise I'll never give a bribe.
Well, that's a great decision you have made. Me and you now have to spread this message to all our friends. If we all do our part, corruption will be no more.
This message is brought to you by Alternative Digital.
Hey Teddy, have you noticed how little attention science and health issues get in the media?
Totally, Edgar, yet science information is very important.
Yeah, for sure. That's why the Health Journalists Network is here.
How can they help?
They are a group of journalists dedicated to advancing public understanding of healthcare issues through impactful reporting on health and science.
Oh, really?
Yes, they meet up every month with scientists and researchers, policymakers, and activists at the science media cafes. They then relay what they discuss to the public.
Does that benefit us?
Oh yes, very much so. This helps with health and science literacy for a healthy Ugandan society.
Okay. I love getting informed about science and health issues. Health information makes all the difference between life and death. I'll look them up and engage them.
That's great. They are based all over the country.
Oh, okay. That's interesting, and they should be making real impact.
They are empowering health communities through journalism. Journalists can save lives just like doctors.
The Alternative Dig Talk. Real issues, real talk.
It is a very beautiful morning here in Uganda's capital, Kampala. My name is Keneth Rubatsimbira Rwemirembe. This is the Mighty Global News Updates, a special moment where we take you through the stories that are shaping conversations here in our country, Uganda, and even take you outside to know what's happening over there. We have learned that in Ukraine, and now the Russia Federation, now Russia, has taken over one area in Ukraine, one more area after others have been always taken by Russia. Now, Pokrovsky is now under capture, according to information coming in from Russia, ahead of the peace talks that are ongoing. But back here in Uganda, a lot of stories have been happening, and the presidential race especially is now heating up harder. Each day, more fire gets in. Now, as the 2026 general elections come closer, every presidential candidate and other politicians, others in other elective positions, are also fighting hard to make sure they get into the office into the offices they desire. And on this very table, we shall be having General Gregory Mugisha Muntu, one of the presidential candidates we have in this race. He is the presidential flag bearer for the Alliance for National Transformation. It's going to be an amazing conversation. You do not have to go away. Stick with us and let me now sail you through the stories that are shaping the conversations here in our country, Uganda. Some of the stories starting with the story of Honorable Rubatsimbira, the presidential candidate and as well as a flag bearer for the National Unity platform. The presidential flag bearer there, yesterday he was in Luwero asking the people of Luwero to now vote the National Unity platform. However, of course, it did not come at ease. They had some tough moment over there with the police as usual, but the police said Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu said they will not give up, that all the moves that are being taken by these security operatives are aimed at making the National Unity Platform lose hope and give up, which he said, Robert Kyagulanyi, that they will never give up. They will continue fighting to make sure Uganda is in their hands. The hands he claims and the NUP claims are the right ones for Uganda's development. Now, of course, he said that some of his supporters were being knocked by the police intentionally, and some of them being wounded, that he will not give up and that the people of Uganda will not give up. Of course, it has always been tough between Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu and now the police. It has been becoming a problem here and there, the police coming out saying that it is the NUP team that provokes the police by trying to be by disturbing or by violating the rules that were given by the Electoral Commission. The Alliance, the NUP says they are not violating any guidelines, much as the police insists that they are carrying out processions which the Electoral Commission did not allow. And of course, we had also the chairperson for the Electoral Commission of Uganda, Justice Simon Mugengi, saying that there are some presidential candidates who are violating the rules, like carrying out processions not at the campaign venues that they had submitted to the Electoral Commission, and that the Electoral Commission will not defend such individuals. Now the NUP says they are following all the rules that were given by the Electoral Commission, but the police is doing this to show their side, that their security operatives are largely being partisan, and that regardless, the National Unity Platform will not give up, and they are committed to spreading their gospel over a new Uganda. That is it over there. But away from the NUP, also other camps are also strategizing to make sure they are in the most high office, the office of the President of the Republic of Uganda. The office that for now is under Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, the current President of the Republic of Uganda, and he is also in the race, asking the people to support him. Yesterday he was in Bushenyi before heading to Shema, and he asked the people of those particular areas to vote the National Resistance Movement and to protect the gains. The NRM says they have achieved a lot for Uganda, and now it is the time where Uganda should not just sleep, but vote NRM into office in all elective positions to make sure at least the NRM is protecting the gains all the Ugandans have achieved so far, amid criticism from the opposition and other people who say that the gains to protect are less or even not there. But the NRM says they have contributed greatly towards the development of this country compared to how they founded this particular country, Uganda, in 1986 when they took government. Now, that is it over there. President Museveni is also asking the people to vote him back into office, an office where he has been for now close to 4 decades, and he still promises more and more. The NRM team says President Museveni is one of the people Ugandans should not miss having as their president, because his leadership has been tested and proven. But criticism is high among the opposition figures in the country, including other people who say that at least the gains have been in the hands of very few, leaving others in poverty. Now, away from President Museveni, Nathan Mafabi, who's the presidential flag bearer for the Forum for Democratic Change, was also in Chira and the areas of Chadundu, is asking the people, of course, to vote Forum for Democratic Change, to vote him into office, and his slogan of money in the pockets. Nathan Mafabi says he will better this country's economy and enable all Ugandans to at least have something in their pockets. Yeah, that they will be better if they vote the Forum for Democratic Change, and that there is no more hope left in the NRM, that all the people should not trust anything coming from the national resistance movement. That in the close to 40 years in power, that Ugandans should not expect anything better or new that will contribute to their development, but they should instead vote the Forum for Democratic Change and vote him into office, the office of the President of Uganda. That is Nathan Mafabi there, but of course he also had some clashes with the police as he was trying to conduct his campaigns alongside the roads, something that the police never wanted to see, and that, of course, something that even the Electoral Commission has been condemning for some good time. But Nathan Mafabi, of course, his supporters tried to insist that they had to carry out their campaigns. There, of course, security operatives had to come in trying to stop them, and there was a little bit of chaos, but nonetheless, they managed to speak to those who were there and willing to listen to them, and spreading now their message of money in the pockets, that they should vote the Forum for Democratic Change into office and vote Honorable Nathan Mafabi. Nathan Mafabi is also part of this race with other 7, including the incumbent president, Yoweri Museveni, all of them making a total of 8 men in this race of the president. The rest that for now is difficult to tell who will get to the top, a decision that will be made by Ugandans come 2026. And if that time does come, please, we urge you to vote and vote for the leaders you think will deliver to your expectations. Do not now ignore voting. It is your right. It is something you have to do for your country. We urge you as the alternative TikTok that you should turn out in large numbers and vote. It is your vote, is your voice, so please use your voice to determine the future of your country. We are not telling you to vote a specific individual. We are saying it is your right to vote. So please, the decision remains to you. After giving you all the analysis, giving you the information here and there, we enable you make an informed decision, and of course you make your own research and see who is fit for the most prestigious office in the country of the office of the President of the Republic of Uganda, even other elective positions from the local council level up to now, the topmost levels. Now, away from that, the Democratic Front delegation yesterday paid a visit to Bulange Mengo, where they met with the Premier of Uganda, Charles Peter Mayiga, and of course they were led by the President of the Democratic Front, Honorable Mathias Mpuga, who in his speech said that their visit to Bulange is meant to show the world and show all Ugandans that the Democratic Front has now grown up, is a mature person, if the DF was a person. That analogy, that now the DF has become a strong political party, and that they are coming in officially to Uganda and to the king, the Kabaka of Uganda, and now other top officials, to prove to Uganda and to the world that now the Democratic Front has become strong, and that the DF is still serious to make sure they take over leadership, much as they do not have a presidential candidate from there. But while responding to that, Honorable Mathias Mpuga said that the reason they never took part in the presidential the elections, that they do not have a candidate there, is that they wanted to first prepare themselves. They never wanted to jump and rush into something they were not prepared for. He said that when the right time comes, the Democratic Front, of course, will come in, and will come in much stronger, marking this as a very crucial step for the Democratic Front, that now they are stronger than ever before after coming to Bulange Mengo. Of course, in his speech, the Premier of Uganda, Charles Peter Mayiga, said that all the political parties and these politicians should encourage unity instead of disunity, and that they should all play mature politics, not to spread hatred and disunity among themselves, that it is time for now politicians to prioritize messages that contribute to the development of this country, not messages that promote hate among Ugandans and even create divisions and disunity here and there. That was it for the Democratic Front visiting the Bulange Mengo and meeting with the Katikiro, also known as the Premier of Uganda, Charles Peter Maiga. Now, away from that, General Salim Saleh, commonly known as General Salim Saleh, General Caleb Akandwana, or the real names, received the East African Legislative Assembly members yesterday and in their visit to Uganda, sorry, and he made them tour some factories here in Uganda, trying to show them the achievements Uganda has had so far. And he reminded them that the NRM government, the National Resistance Movement, has contributed greatly towards the development of this country, showing them now some of those factories like you're seeing on that screen. They're showing them the factory for tiles, even the factory for textile and other initiatives and development projects done by the government. He said that the NRM government has contributed greatly towards that development and that they still have good plans for Uganda, of course speaking to these members of the East African Parliament known as the East African Legislative Assembly. And he also reminded them of the good relationship they have had as the NRM with the opposition, saying that they have had good relations with the Democratic Party, that even when the Democratic Party was strong in Kampala, they never had problems with the DP, and that now they are fighting so hard to take Kampala back. Kampala that is now under opposition largely, and that the NRM government is fighting so hard to make sure they win the hearts of the people of Kampala, and now they do take over. The NRM relationship with the DP, of course he said that relationship was there some time back and that it is still there. This comes at a moment where we see even the leader of the Democratic Party having good relations with the President of the Republic of Uganda, even working in his cabinet as a Minister for Constitutional Affairs. That is now Honorable Norbert Mao. Of course, that was it. The visit went on well, as you're seeing there on that screen. Now, taking you in our international news, I thank you for still being with us from the very beginning to now, a time where we cross borders and head to Russia and Ukraine. Of course, following the peace talks, like we have been giving you the updates here, following the peace talks that were ongoing to make sure the United States peace proposal is implemented and the war stops in Ukraine. Now Russia has claimed capture of Pokrovsky in Ukraine. This comes, of course, at a critical time where the world wouldn't expect more confrontations between these two countries as they are looking for lasting solutions to bring peace, to end the war that has claimed a lot of lives in both Ukraine and now Russia. President Vladimir Putin of Russia insists that if Ukraine is ready to end the war, they are ready to end it. Now, the same is happening in Ukraine. President Volodymyr Zelensky of Ukraine says Russia is not intending to end the war and is not interested. In the U.S. peace plan proposal, it is said that the president of Russia, or Russia as a country, will leave Ukraine and allow them to have their peace. Only when, if Ukraine now allows that some of the captured areas or captured regions in Ukraine by Russia are taken, and that Ukraine should allow Russia to take some areas in Ukraine, including the Donbas, one of the critical regions of Ukraine, and other areas, something that was seen as difficult here and there. Of course, now Ukraine having also to reduce their military manpower, something that was seen as maybe trying to please Russia. But of course, we have learned that President Volodymyr Zelensky of Ukraine has seemed not much bothered with this. They are ready to accept most of the terms in this proposal. Now the question remains on whether Russia will also accept some of the requests of Ukraine. Of course, the peace talks are ongoing. The United States Special Envoy Steve Witkoff was there to make sure they deliver the message from the United States of America now to President Vladimir Putin to see whether he's also ready to accept some of the proposals coming in from Ukraine. But of course, the European countries have seen this as a favor to now Russia, given the opportunity that they will have to take full control, to have total control over some of the regions that once belonged to Ukraine, and even taking some regions that are still being under Ukraine. But of course, the regions that the Ukrainian forces have fought so hard to maintain. But of course, Russia says they want them. And of course, it is one of the things Ukraine has to do to accept. And now the war ends. The Ukraine is under pressure, of course, losing a lot of people. And the tension is always very high. Of course, they are on pressure, people are dying, and now sometimes they are forced to accept some of these terms. But now the European Union had come out, European countries, with their own peace proposal. The proposal that so far we have learned that President Vladimir Putin of Russia has said that Europe is not invited on this and that he is not ready to follow that proposal. And he said that even if Europe tries to now enter into this war, the people of Russia, or Russia is ready to fight Europe if Europe can't leave this alone. This is a critical moment, a very tough moment where both countries have to make decisions that will bring lasting peace for both of these countries, and even peace in other regions that have been facing the indirect effects of this war. That is the mighty global news updates. I thank you so much for being part of this amazing conversation. We have been giving you the updates, but as I promised, as I speak this very moment, the General is arriving here in the studio with the Princess, General Gregory Mugisha. Don't miss, the conversation is coming in, and we are now leaving you for now and leaving you to enjoy this conversation with General Gregory Mugisha and Princess Lillian Luwero. Thank you so much. Have a good morning.